So, as a former English major, I can't help but think of this credit card thing as sort of a three-act play: setup, conflict, resolution. So, we've everything up till now has been set up. Let's get into the conflict. Intro. Welcome back to the Awesome Room. My name is Chris Hess. Sophie and Skylar, I hope you're watching this. Everybody else, nice to have you with us. So today we are headed into the valley of the shadow of debt. So up until now, we've done what? We have looked at the right way to use credit cards. We've talked about 4 rules for doing that. We have looked at the financial impact of following those 4 rules. We've looked at how credit card minimum payments are calculated, and we have looked at a very benign example of what happens when you don't pay off your credit card in full and you just pay the minimum payments. But it really wasn't that bad because the amount of the balance was relatively small compared to the minimum payments. So it was paid off quickly. Now we're going to look at what happens when your balance isn't small. So we're starting with numbers that are, like $1,000, $2,000. I mean, if you buy a big screen TV, if you put a lot of your living expenses on your credit card, you can run up $1,000 worth of credit card debt pretty quickly. You can run up a lot more than that, actually. So the important thing to realize is that when your balance is large relative to the minimum payment, you're only paying off a very small portion of your balance when you make your monthly payments, if you make minimum payments. Most of what you're paying is interest. And what that means is it's going to take a long time to pay off the balance, and you're going to pay a ton of interest. So let's look at that. If you have a $1,000 balance and an interest rate around 15% and the minimum payment rules that apply to one of my cards, it's going to take you 4 years and 8 months to pay that card off, and you're going to pay $382 of interest. So you're going to pay 38% of your balance in interest payments. All right, that's pretty ugly. Okay? It gets worse. If you have a $2,000 balance that you're carrying, it's going to take you more than 10 years to pay it off. And you're going to incur $1,600 in interest payments. That's 80% of your balance. Okay, now it starts to get really wacky. At $4,000, you're looking at 14 years plus to pay off that balance and $3,600 in interest. And at $10,000, you're looking at 21 years, almost 22 years to pay off your balance and $11,000 in interest. Notice, you're now paying more in interest than you actually paid for whatever it was that you charged to your card. I mean, that's just ridiculous, and you don't want to be doing that. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let me grow back up. I can tell you this from experience. I've been in this situation. Large credit card balances and having to service that debt is crippling. It sucks a lot. It's awful. It's worse than just putting a cramp in your finances. It changes the way you think about the world, your level of happiness, your balance between optimism and pessimism, your willingness to take risks, your level of generosity personally. It limits your ability to be who you want to be toward yourself, toward everybody else. It's miserable. And I've had credit card debt greater than any number on that previous slide. And I can tell you that it's really a lousy place to be. There are exactly 2 goals that make sense with regard to credit cards. The first is to not carry balances, period. You do what I said in the 4 rules. You pay them off every month. You treat them like cash. Things go swimmingly. Maybe you make some rewards. You get some cash back. You get some airline miles, whatever. That's awesome, right? But what if you're already carrying credit card debt? What if you're already kind of in trouble? You need to make a plan to pay it off, and you need to put that plan into effect as soon as possible. Basically, if you're in a hole, stop digging. Okay, so we're going to talk in future videos about how you implement both of these goals. If you don't have a balance right now, great. Here's how you stay that way. And if you do have a credit card balance, here's how you start thinking about getting out of that situation. So thanks for listening and watching. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks. Bye.